as the lights went out, the pole sitter, René Rast, would do his level best to protect the inside line going into turn number 1 from the hard-charging Gary Paffett from Mercedes-Benz and Bruno Spengler from BMW. A little bit further back down the order, Eduardo Mortara would connect with Robin Freins, which would send Robin Freins into a spin. Eduardo Mortara out onto the runoff area. But at the front, it was René Rast that had made good his escape up the road and was already beginning to build a gap over the Mercedes-Benz driver, Gary Paffett. Lucas Auer was trying very hard and was involved in a battle with Marco Wittmann and also Philipp Eng. And Paul de Resta, of course, from a not brilliant qualifying position, needed to make his way up the order to protect his position in the Drivers' Points Championship. 3 abreast they almost went, but this was going to be a big battle between Philipp Eng and Paul de Resta. Paul de Resta on the inside, Philipp Eng now on the outside, but would try and come back. Paul de Resta on the inside, and when he did, there was a connection between the two of them. And that, unfortunately, sent Paul de Resta round into a spin and earned Philipp Eng a drive-through penalty. So here it is in replay. And whilst Philipp Eng was on the grass trying to give room to Paul de Resta, the room was not enough. And what that meant was that it would be a no-points finish for Paul de Resta, who chose to come into the pit lane at exactly that moment and to try and roll the dice in terms of strategy. Philipp Eng then, as I mentioned, earned a drive-through penalty. So it would be 2 trips to the pit lane for Philipp Eng. At the closing stages of the race, Gary Paffett came under some pressure from Bruno Spengler, and Bruno Spengler going through on Gary Paffett here. And Gary, of course, keen to bank points and move himself back up to the top of the Drivers' Championship. Just meant that he was able to protect his position and think that P3 was probably better than gambling all to try and protect that P2 position. Bruno Spengler, following his mandatory pit stop, comes back out onto the track, bearing in mind, of course, on cold tyres now. No tyre warmers are allowed in DTM. René Rast, though, doing a great job out front and was not really challenged by Bruno Spengler, nor Gary Paffett either. And that would remain the case until the very end of the race, as I mentioned just a few moments ago. Timo Glock was also beginning to come into the picture. So, as we reach the closing stages of the race, Bruno Spengler had done his level best to try and get on terms with René Rast. But it was not to be. Rast would take the win, his second one of the season. Bruno Spengler would take P2 in the BMW, and Gary Paffett would hold on to take P3, another podium and a good points haul for the Mercedes-Benz driver. So René Rast out of the car and celebrates his second win of the DTM season 2018 for the current DTM champion. So René Rast celebrating, thumbs up, and punches the air with delight.